Last we left off, the Zodiacs, after having successfully removed the aquamarine vials from the three prisoners you rescued from Lipat, you now venture to remove the curse inflicted on Zero from a bite by a nightmare cherub. Head to the Great Hall of the Ten and visit the Hall of Light, requesting a meeting with the High Priest Lillian Birch. Seemingly a very fast spell later, the curse is seemingly removed. However, with a keen observation from Janna, the inky black mark on Zero seems to have moved onto the High Priest herself. And with some further research by Riley, the curse seems to transfer when the attempt to remove it is not potent enough. A few more spells are being cast, and an exorcism later, the curse jumps to Riley, then is removed permanently as Riley, you catch the last glimpses of the creature as it disapparates. Unknown where it is now. The High Priest seems to recognize your faces at some point through all this and gives you 3 days to get your business sorted and then to leave the city. You leave immediately, dodging bounty hunters once again as they are still lingering in the town. Teleporting to the Grand Forest and then flying to Sylmia to drop off the last 2 remaining prisoners and get your own affairs in order. The security seems a bit more tight, more tense than last you were here, but the elves decide to attempt to march through the front gate. Zero goes invisible, and Janna becomes a cat. With no attempt to conceal your identities, the guards recognize you immediately as the faces on the posters and move to arrest you. Riley submits, becoming shackled and then being marched off to Black Harbor. Chris teleports and then flies up, taking volleys of gunfire on the way up. And Zero and Janna follow Riley silently through the streets, where he's escorted into the fairly large yard of the prison complex of Black Harbor, and then thrown into a beholder cell, a sheet white room with a simple cot and a bedpan in the corner. The second time you've visited this room, Riley. Chris flies to the Academy Arcana, burgles his way inside, and disguises himself as a simple student, covering up the gunshot wounds with magic with disguise self, and impromptu joining a beginner class to magic. Zero is invisible within the chain link fence portion of Black Harbor, but outside the main building itself. Jan as a cat was briefly adopted before the guard tearfully bids you farewell, letting you outside beyond the chain link fence into the city itself. The party split up by physical obstacles, by distance, and by legal boundaries. Zodiacs, who would want to go first? What do they want to do?
No volunteers, huh?
I can go first.
All right. You are currently in the middle of a classroom. Fairly spacious. It's fairly populated as well. Every seat is more or less filled. You taking one of the few seats that weren't, and you are currently in a lecture about the beginning schools of magic and like what each one entails, like a general topic. Seeming this is a junior spellcasting class.
Can I assess that it's in the middle of the class, or is it the beginning, or is it near the end?
Hard to tell. You haven't been. You were never rolled in the Academy Arcana. You don't really know what the class lengths are, or really what the curriculum is, or like whether this is just the beginning piece of a longer lecture or the ending thing that they're leaving off on. Kind of hard to tell. Make an insight check, maybe. You wager, just judging from from the demeanor of the student and the teacher, both the teacher and the students are somewhat checked out, seemingly. So you gather that it's on the tail end-ish. You can't be certain how long that is necessarily. It could be halfway through. It could be near the end exactly. But the lecture's been happening for some time, seemingly.
Can I do a short rest with my eyes open?
You can attempt to. If an hour managed to pass by, then yes, you can take a short rest. If the lecture is long enough.
Okay, I'll attempt it then.
Okay, so all this information is not new to you. You know all of this stuff. There's nothing in here that you can learn, no secrets necessarily that you can glean from this teacher's lecture. So you just do as all good students do at some point. Just zone out and think about other more important things. The several gunshot wounds you have just throbbing and pulsing with pain as you're just trying to close them up with your mind. Okay, Chris is in school. Zero Riley Jenna. What are any of you doing?
What's around me right now?
You are currently in the actual prison yard of Black Harbor itself. Black Harbor is a fairly large chunk of area, and you're in front of the main building currently. Black Harbor itself is much larger than just the one building. There's several other auxiliary buildings off to the sides. The main dock itself is connected to one side as well. That's where you saw, I think, a ship blow up one time there. So there's a good amount of prison to walk through, but you know the building that Riley was marched through is the main building that you visited once before. There is a security checkpoint not too far away from you that you managed to sneak through when they opened the gates in. Other than that, you see just patrolling guards. They're not like, keeping a super keen eye out, but they are, patrolling, doing their duties. And there are 2 guards in front of the main building as well. From your location, that's about as much as you can glean without more investigation.
Can I summon Azek to kind of like fly above this general area and see if there's anything else we can see? Like another exit, possibly?
Okay. Summoning Azek won't drop invisibility, correct? Because it's not technically like casting the spell, it's just using a part of it.
I think so. I think it's an action to do it, right? Or is it a bonus action to summon him?
I think it's an action. It should be okay. You're not technically casting the spell, you're not attacking anybody, it'll be fine. Azek's not invisible, so a owl does show up, but you throw him up fast enough, it's not going to be too much of a major stink.
Yeah, okay. I'll see if there's like anything in the area that I can kind of hide behind and then let him fly out from behind that, if that makes sense.
Okay. Yeah, you don't need a roll. You're invisible and your stealth is like astronomically high. Plenty of to hide behind. There is a good amount of like jagged walls and buildings that you could hide behind. There's a lot of smaller auxiliary buildings. I'm kind of made of that same just brick that's been painted white, this sheet white. Kind of giving it a weird, almost like sense of not belonging in this fairly colorful and like active city. There's just this blank white stain of a section of buildings in this one area where Black Harbor is. Tons of little nooks and crannies you can hide in though, and you can just summon Azek, throw him up. Yeah, you make a perception check with Azek.
Yes, please.
Okay.
Can you explain to me what you're doing?
I'm invisible and I'm walking around, I guess, the inside of this yard that I'm trapped in because they closed the doors. There's all sorts of buildings in this little area that I can hide behind, so I can summon Azek without like getting too much attention. So he doesn't just materialize into thin air, but I want him to just kind of survey the area and see if I can. Actually, 2 things. Let's see if I can find Cat Jana, because I don't think I saw where she went. And to also see if there's another place I can exit through. And I'll roll for him real quick.
Okay. Yeah.
Say 19.
Okay. Yeah. So I'll do one of those because I don't know what Jana's doing just yet. But
Me either.
there is. So give you some time to think about it then. There are, besides the front entrance, which seemingly is the most used, you do see, as Alex is flying around, the guards aren't paying too much mind. It's a bird in the sky. It's currently, like afternoon, it's a bird in the sky. not a whole lot of smoke or steam coming out of the Black Harbor itself, so it's a fairly clear eye shot. Near the back at the docks, you do see there is a couple of large, these rolling gates that seem to open up, seemingly just offload goods. Seems Black Harbor also functions as like the main dock itself. You do see a couple ships moored there. Two large ships that look like just normal merchant ships, and like one very long, almost wedge-shaped ship made of metal, which I think you saw blow up one time in the middle of the sea. There's only one of them currently moored there, and it looks pretty formidable. It's a little bigger than the rest of the ships. No goods are being offloaded there. It's just sort of sitting there. But near the back, there are loading gates, more or less. There's a couple side entrances, but you don't know where exactly those go. The loading gates at the back are open currently. You see goods crates being moved in and out. As for Jenna, oh sorry, go ahead.
No, I'll give me some time to think. Go ahead.
Okay, Jenna, you are currently outside of the main complex itself. You have access to the city, but the chain link fence has been closed, and you were sort of just let out outside of it. So, you're currently cat form, and you're just outside of the whole prison itself. Anything you'd like to do?
So I think what I didn't quite understand last time, and I still don't, was so what are we trying to do right now? Because Riley's in jail, right? Chris is not, but Riley is.
Correct.
Yeah, you don't even really know where Chris is. You sort of just fly up and then he's
Right,
gone.
so he's
more or less.
gone. I don't think I'm gonna find Chris. Zero I know is in the area, but is invisible, and that's why I lost Zero to begin with. So I don't think
Right.
I'm gonna find Zero. So I guess my goal right now is to just try and get to Riley. Was that back where I was inside?
Yes, you were sort of briefly adopted by a guard, but then like when you scrambled out, he sort of just like went, "Oh, okay," and then let you out outside of the gates itself.
Do I also feel like
So you-
Riley, like, because Riley just can teleport, right?
Not anymore.
No?
Nope, I'm in a beholder cell.
Yeah. Hard to tell if Jenna would know that, but you were here at one point to sort of rescue, quote unquote, pay off the bonds on Pratchell's like larceny of the academy one time, and like he was in a cell that seemed to cancel or at least contain magic. So it's possible that Riley was in one of those cells.
Okay. Thank you. Sorry, I'm still just catching up. I think right now my move is to just for a little bit stay put outside just in case Zero comes around. But I feel like if so much time passes, then I will find another way back in.
Okay. Yeah, with the sun high in the sky, noon's coming up. Easy enough to keep track of the time. The walls are high, but the sun is visible at this point. I should note, I was somewhat keeping track of spell durations. Chris, you have 1 hour of disguise self currently.
Okay.
Zero, you have 20 minutes left of invisibility. And Jenny, you have 2 hours. Full 2 hours of wild shape as a cat. Plenty of time to slink around. Okay. So yeah, you're sort of just pacing. Are you keeping watch, or are you just waiting? Are you doing anything outside
Oh yeah, I'll
necessarily?
do that. I'll be kind of sitting as a cat does and just watching the ins and outs of the street.
Okay. Make a perception check. This will just use your normal perception because druid wild shape stuff, pretty cool.
Oh my gosh, sorry, I'm fighting with Google Chrome right now.
Okay. Okay, so you don't notice anything suspicious, necessarily. A couple minutes pass, 10, 15 or so. You keep track of guards, you keep people moving in and out. Black Harbor doesn't seem to be super busy, necessarily. There's not a whole lot of people, like criminals, being dragged in. At one point, you see a sort of mechanical man, this sort of clanking and cluttering, just steampunk humanoid just almost like a tin soldier, but like full sized, just carrying a halberd and is currently with his chest cavity exposed, and there is currently a man, this sort of elven man, just crammed in there, being dragged in with a net, and that tin soldier, this clockwork guard, just slowly marches into Black Harbor. The gates open. Seemingly this robot just kidnapped somebody and brought him to prison. You keep note of some guard movements. The original guard that sort of adopted you for a bit has changed shifts with another one. You try to keep track of patrol movements as well. They seem to be semi-random, like they're not like on a strict schedule, but they sort of just every so often circle and pass by the same areas once, twice. And you're sort of sitting there, and no one pays attention to the cat on the street. This spy on the outside. Zero, as Azek is sort of floating above, you do see a cat, a very familiar looking cat, just sort of sat probably a good like 30 feet away from the fence itself, just under some cover by a railing.
Okay, where is the nearest exit to this cat that is within my, or within Azek's view?
Exit to the outside?
Yeah, I guess an exit to the area that Janet's already at. Like
Okay,
outside
yeah.
of the
So just
walls.
beyond the fence, yeah. Probably the actual front gate itself, the one that like you snuck into before. The gates aren't super high necessarily, like 10, 15. You could try to clamber up it, but they are chain links, so they might rattle. And there's also barbed wire at the top. You can try to jump it if you want to, or there's some other method to get out.
I have something, but we'd have to fucking book it after that. I can Misty step through the fence because I'm assuming it's like chain link. I can see through it, right?
You can see through it, yeah.
Okay, so theoretically I could Misty step, but after that point I'd have to book it because my invincibility would drop.
Potentially, unless no one sees you misty step outside.
Okay, I guess I will tiptoe on over back to the gate, and I will try to find can I spy any dark corner on the outside of the gate, like where I want to go, so I can teleport directly there and hide immediately in somewhere like dark in the alleys or something?
The Mississippi goes 30 feet, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Between the actual chain link fence and the rest of the city itself, there seems to be like this fairly wide gap between them. Just so like there's not any like encroaching buildings that are sort of overlooking the prison so they can get up to shenanigans. So there is this sort of dead zone where it's just a very wide street. There's a couple of alleyways you can see. The distance is about 40 or 40 feet away from the prison. So you can teleport and try to really quickly dart in, or some other solution. The area you're in currently, there's a good amount of cover, but they're kind of like 10 feet away from the 10 feet away from the fence itself. So you'll be losing a little bit of distance through there, but it's possible if you're quick enough.
I think I wanna utilize my invisibility for as long as I can. Can I try another like exit that might go in that general direction? Like I'm sure there's not one super close by, but is there any way I could go try to find another exit, even if I'm not really sure where it goes, just another door leaving this little gated area?
Yeah. The main building is the biggest building. It's like the only 3-story building here. The rest are either 1 or 2 or just small little like trailers almost. The fence continues quite a long way, so you can try to follow it for a little bit if you want to.
Yeah, I think I'll do that.
Okay. All right, so you begin to just trail along the fence itself, not worrying too much about being seen because you can't be seen. Throughout, you do see a number of guards, sort of just dressed in a very simple scale mail, cheaply made. Some armed with rifles, some armed with just sabers. A lot of them have these blunt wooden clubs for seemingly just pacifying reasons. You do see a couple people that don't look like they necessarily belong. Just plain clothes people. They look intimidating. Like they definitely stand out amongst like a crowd of commoners. There's people with trench coats and daggers, people with just like these huge guys in armor that don't have any uniform, just shirtless dudes full of scars. You do see Peacekeeper Boggy sort of just walk by as well, just all smiles. Uh,
Oh, that's the one from the bar, right?
that's the one who fist fights everybody. Yeah,
The big guy?
the big guy.
I remember that. That was a long time ago when we had like the little target contest. Do you remember that, Josie?
Mm-hmm.
That fucking big ass unit of a guy. Okay. What else is in this area? Like, where am I seeing all these people? Like, what are they doing? Is it like a.
A lot of them are sort of just walking to the main building themselves. Boggy seems to be trailing along with them. Uh, you see a number of these auxiliary buildings that you don't know necessarily what's inside them. They just are these 1 or 2 story brick buildings painted white, with some of them have the Black Harbor logo, the black anchor with a chain wrapping around the shaft. Don't necessarily know what those inside those. Not all of them have windows. Mostly just single doored. You see people to your left across the way, just across this empty yard full of crates and goods. People unloading stuff off ships. A ship eventually just unloads all the stuff and just sails away. There's a lot of activity inside the yard itself, but criminal activity necessarily is not super high. You don't see a lot of people being dragged in.
Okay, so there's just like a lot of foot traffic of
Yeah.
different characters here.
Yeah, so there's you see some like dock workers looking people, just like these pretty strong looking people just moving barrels off ships. You see the guards, and you just see this random assortment of just intimidating looking people.
Okay. And as I'm like traveling along, I guess the fence, I don't see any like obvious entrances or exits. to get
After
back outside.
a couple minutes walking down that direction, you do see another entrance. Like further on to the east side.
I will make my way over there. How much time has passed at this point?
At this point, probably like 5-10 minutes or so.
Okay, so I have about 10 minutes of invisibility left.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I wanna make my way over to the second exit. That's hopefully not as heavily trafficked as the first one.
Yeah. This one doesn't seem to be, actually. Yeah, it is a little bit more quiet here. The main building is a little bit further to the left, and this is just seeming these auxiliary buildings. Some of them eventually just transition to large looking warehouses. Yeah, this one still guarded, but is not nearly as highly foot trafficked as the other one.
Okay. And what are like my obvious means of exiting? Just climbing it?
You can climb it if you want to. It might make some noise. You might cut yourself on the top there. Bar. You can try teleporting outside, or you can try waiting for an opening if someone opens the gate for some reason.
Can you say that last sentence again, Simon?
Yeah, just judging options for Zero's escape. Either you can climb the fence, which is about 10-15 feet high, but there's barbed wire at the top, and it might be noisy because it's chain link. Zero can teleport using Misty Step. That would break invisibility, but it would get them out at least, or possibly wait for an opening for the gate to open for some reason. This is a sort of secondary gate off to the side, though.
This is not the gate that Jana's in front of.
No.
Okay.
There's no obvious, well, not obvious, I should say. Is there like a booth near this gate too? Kind of like how there was with the first one, like near where we entered.
There's a booth. Yeah, it's on the inside, so it's not like connected with a fence necessarily. It's just this sort of this wooden like hut almost that is just stood on the inside, and there is a clear open window.
Is there anybody in there I can see?
Generally, yes. There's a single guard. Just minding his business, not really doing anything.
Okay, can I go towards him and see if, like, obviously I'm gonna stealth, but I want to see if I can kind of peek my head in and see if there's any obvious, like, lever or button I can maybe finesse.
Looking inside, make a perception check. Levers, buttons, not really. The booth itself seems to be pretty, just like a booth. The last time the guards opened the gate, they physically unlocked like a padlock and then just lifted the gate itself. So you gather it's not necessarily like a mechanical thing. It's just someone here is just keeping watch of the gate, and if someone wants to get in, they just lift open the gate more or less.
Okay. Near this booth, are there any little dark corners I could hide behind for a moment to come out of, like alleyways? I know they're not like alleyways, but like just behind. Is there anything that could obscure me for a moment?
Yeah, the booth itself actually. The booth is fairly close to the fence, and if you crouch low enough, you could get below the window that guard can see you.
Okay, I'm gonna do that, and I am going to cast Disguise Self, and I'm going to make myself look like the other Peacekeeper. What was her name? Did we learn her name? The one with
Rind, I believe, the one that
Rind.
like utterly demolished Chris with like this flurry of blows.
Yes, that one. I wanna disguise myself as her.
Okay, yeah. You recognize her. I mean, she left quite a lasting impression in your mind and on Chris's face. So, okay, yeah. So you disguise yourself. Your height shrinks a little bit, and you become this younger woman, black hair that's kind of kept somewhat short around the shoulders, and just fairly simple clothing and like these cloth wrappings around your hands and feet.
Okay. I will nonchalantly walk out from behind the booth, and I want to give the guard like a nod towards the gate, just like, just really casually, like I'm trying to get out.
Okay. Yeah, you sort of approach the gate. Guard sort of looks up. He's like, oh, it's Peacekeeper. I didn't see you there. Leaving, yes?
I'm just gonna nod my head yes.
Okay, yes, I'll get that out of the way. Please wait just a little bit. These old bones ain't what they used to be. As he sort of gets the energy to lift up himself up the chair and then just begins to rattle some keys. He drops the key ring a couple times and just unlocks his padlock, sort of removes the chains and sort of just lifts with the back and the knees, good form, and just sort of moves the fence out of the way just enough, just a little crack for you to sneak by.
Excellent. I will skedaddle my little butt out of there.
Okay, yeah, you just...
Very casually, nonchalant still, but I do leave.
All right, so you just begin to leave using disguising yourself as the Peacekeeper. Peacekeeper Rin. Met once before. Lots of kicks in that one. But you just begin to march down the street in this sort of 30-foot, 40-foot dead zone from the city itself and the prison. Just, are you going into the alleys to get a sight, or just marching to where Jana is?
Is there any way I could travel to where Jana is while also remaining kind of hidden, like close to the walls in the dark or something?
Yeah, it might take you a little bit because you might hit some alleys that don't go anywhere, but you can.
Yeah, I think I'll make my way over there just stealthily. 'Cause
Okay.
I have Disguise Self is like an hour, right? I think.
Yes.
Yeah, so I'll just make my way over to Jana.
Okay. Okay. So you're making way to Jana. Riley, are you doing anything? You are.
I'll have a
in
quick look in the cell.
Okay. Anything to look? Are you looking for anything in particular? You are in a white cell. There's a single glass window. It's fairly large. You can see a guard sort of just staring at you, kind of creepily in it. Bedpan in the corner. A simple cot built into the wall to the left. The whole room is sheet white, and you heard this hiss as the door is like hermetically sealed, and you hear almost nothing in here. It is just your heartbeat, and it's a little bit disconcerting. You never necessarily heard anything this quiet before.
I'm gonna look for a perhaps way to turn off the anti-magic, or just a weakness in the structure.
Okay. Either make a perception or investigation check. They will yield different results.
Yeah, I think it's probably better to go. Well,
Okay, investigation. Looking around. As far you haven't been in a whole lot of prisons. 0 actually. Well, actually, you've been in one, but you weren't a resident. You broke out Merrick one time. The conditions weren't great in this. This cell is weirdly extremely clean. Like it is well kept. The bed is actually the cot is very like well kept. Blankets are clean. You get a nice pillow. Bedpan is like this nice like pewter, like it is silver. It's still a bedpan, so it's polished turd and everything. But looking around, you don't see any other defining landmarks or symbols or anything. It's just this sheet white room. The while the walls are sheet white, they are sort of somewhat padded in a little bit. There's like these 2-foot panels that are kind of indented like a cushion. You're trying to see if there's anything between the seams, but those things are sewn shut.
I don't have any of my gear.
No.
And I can't cast magic in here. Yeah, not really sure. Guess I'll just sit down and wait for stuff to happen.
Okay. Right, so as you're waiting there, a couple minutes pass. The guard is sort of just staring at you, mostly.
Riley will initiate a staring contest with the guard.
Okay. Make a Constitution saving throw.
Constitution save.
Okay. 19 minutes is how long it takes for you to blink. And this guard at some point is just like looking at you like you're an idiot, but then after the first 5 minutes, he also begins to like try to figure out like how long he can exactly hold his eyes open for. It's not very long. It's like a minute or 2 minutes or so, but like he keeps continually trying and trying. And after about 90 minutes of this, 20 minutes of this, you see another guard enter the room. It's like this small control room that you're staring into. The guard sort of has another conversation with the staring contest guard, and you don't hear any words or anything.
Would I be able to read lips?
I think that's a feat, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like you can try make an insight check.
Insight.
Don't forget that you're fluent in hip reading.
In hip reading?
Yeah. It's a Shakira trait.
I thought it was funny.
Thank you.
I can detect falsehoods within the hips.
Yeah.
But I probably won't have to because they're not very frequent.
Yeah. Yeah, your charisma is so low. It's not your hips don't lie. It's your hips are incapable of lying. Yeah, with Insight 10, it's hard to tell. You can see their mouth movements, but like you're trying to piece together the words, but like there's so many phonetics that like could be one or the other that can change the sentence structure completely. That it's hard to tell.
Common.
Yeah, after a minute,
After
after a minute or so, the guards swap, and you see the first guard sort of fiddle with some panel in front of them, and you see by the door, the door itself begins to sort of hum a little bit. The first noise you've heard in a while, actually, as this sort of beam of light comes out from underneath the door and begins to sort of apparate this plate, then followed by a sandwich. And then the beam of light disappears, and there's just a sandwich plate just sitting there.
Is it a chicken sandwich?
It's not actually. It is sort of a ham and lettuce and tomato sandwich.
I've had worse. It's not fish, but I'll get her done.
You take
He'll
a bite.
inspect the sandwich first for like poison.
Make an investigation check. Okay, you investigate the sandwich. It's looking through like each layer. The guard is watching this whole time. Doesn't seem to be poisoned. You smell it. It smells not fresh. It doesn't really smell like anything, if anything. But it is seemingly a sandwich. It feels like a sandwich. It doesn't smell like much, but it feels like a sandwich.
He'll chow down. Why not? Feels like a waste otherwise.
Yeah, eat it. It's okay. It's not a great sandwich. It's filling enough, but it's not like, uh, it's not like real food. You kind of taste it, and it has somewhat of the same taste as like Chris's mansion food. Like it tastes fine in the mansion, but like there's like this sort of like artificiality to it. This is kind of like that, but on like a higher scale. It's far more artificial than the high level magic Chris is used to conjure the food. So yeah, it tastes okay. Once you take the sandwich off, the plate disappears, and you just left with the sandwich.
Once he's done eating, he'll just sit back down and reinitiate the staring contest. See if he can get a record.
Okay. All right, as you're sitting down, having to stare down with this new guard. Okay. Is Misty back?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. About around this time, it takes you a little bit longer to get back. About 15, 20 minutes or so. And eventually you do arrive where Cat Jenna is.
Who's approaching me?
You see the peacekeeper, the sort of woman that sort of went into the Eagle Point Inn at one point and just utterly demolished Chris with a flurry of punches and kicks.
And I'm sorry, and what is she doing? She's just there?
Walking towards you.
I approach.
Okay. You approach Zero, you see Cat Jenna slowly approaching you.
I'm gonna reach down and pick up Cat Jana and just kind of like put her on my back if she'll allow me to do so.
I will allow.
Okay.
I
All
do
right, so you're
literally
currently-
know who this is, right? You're just
I think
describing-
you recognize the person, but I don't think you know it's me. Like, this is an NPC that we've both seen in character. I just
Oh,
don't think Jana
okay.
knows it's me.
Okay. I feel like if this were to happen, I'd be like, this is something. Yeah, I think Jana has a suspicion. How about that?
That's fair.
I think I've seen you guys disguise self so many times that if somebody's this confident in doing this, it must be one of us.
Because you do use this guy's self quite a bit.
It's a good fucking spell. I'll toss Jana, not like on my back, but like kind of like on my shoulder.
Yeah,
With her-
like a
with her-
pirate. All right.
Yeah, with her perch there.
Okay. So you have the peacekeeper disguised. Yeah, and Jana, once you're on the shoulder, you can feel that it doesn't feel like skin; it feels like armor, like clothing.
I lick this person's ear
Ew.
with my
Yeah, you
scratchy
lick.
cat tongue.
That's in character. Ew.
Yeah, you hear you. You can hear his voice. You can pot like sort of put a
Yeah.
pie up. You can feel horns.
You can feel
My
horns.
paw.
I'm just
Okay.
gonna like keep my voice really low and just kind of like speak to Jana under my breath and just be like, Jana, what the fuck are we gonna do?
I go, meow?
Excellent. Okay, I guess for the meantime, I will just kind of continue walking in the same direction, just kind of scanning the perimeter with Jana, and with Azig flying like ahead of us, just keeping an eye for anyone weird.
Okay. All right. Scanning for any particular, or just keeping an eye out?
Just keeping an eye out for anyone coming near us or that we're heading towards.
Okay. Okay. Both of you make perception checks.
Can I make one for Azig? Or you want me to make?
Sure. He's flying up ahead.
That's a 21.
Okay. Yeah, so you're sort of walking ahead, just keeping the same direction. You're just sort of scanning the perimeter. Uh, yeah, the first couple minutes, seemingly normal, fairly quiet. You see a couple of those sort of clockwork guards march past as well, and they sort of clutter. You just clank ahead of you. There's these sort of rigid and robotic, like the programmed movements. Like it's almost off balance, but it's not. Like they're like falling forward and catching themselves just in time. They're very, very clunky. As you sort of pass by the guards, they have these little tin hats. They sort of just like grab these two metallic fingers, pinch the rim, and sort of just like tip their hat to you as you pass by Zero, and then you just continue walking. Just past.
How big are those weird fucking jail bots?
They're about the size of a person. It's like 5-6 feet.
And you said one of them caught somebody in a net?
Yeah.
That's
They're like half jammed into their empty cavity, like in a net.
That's terrifying.
Prison bots.
I
Yeah.
don't know where we're going, but I'm on edge. That's all I know.
Okay, I'm just keeping an eye out. As it goes the first note, that's followed by Jana pretty quickly. As it eventually flies down towards you a little bit, Zero, and you hear in your brain, real. As Zero, Zero, you sort of look, and Jen, you see both Peacekeeper Boggy and Peacekeeper Rin sort of just walking out of the one of the auxiliary buildings on the side.
Hasek said real.
Yeah, they both look pretty the same. Their clothing are a little bit different, but like they still look very intense.
Oh no. Do they see me immediately?
You guys are probably about 100 feet from each other. As exploded at first, but you can see the sort of hulking shoulders form of the of Boggy, and the fact that they both don't have shoes and they're both like, just very athletic in different ways. They're a pretty noticeable duo. They don't seem to notice you yet. What are y'all
Is there
doing?
anywhere dark I can hide in the near vicinity?
Yeah, you're still in that dead zone, but you can just pop into the left of the building a little bit.
Yeah, I would like to hide to the left or wherever, hide out of sight from them.
Good. Make a stealth check. Okay. Okay. Yep, so you sort of see the alert, and then you just pop in to the left and the shadows in the building. Janny sort of just pulled along. You saw them. So you gather why you're hiding, but like
Right.
you hide, and then you wait a couple seconds. You hear the laugh, jovial belly laugh of Boggy as Zero sort of peek out, and you see Peacekeeper Rain sort of staring at your exact position. Just stood there, just looking, but like, doesn't necessarily like spot you and be like that's impossible, but just saw something.
What?
Oh no! Oh no!
She rolled really high.
God damn it! I'm while I'm hiding back here, I'm gonna cast Disguise Self. This is my last fucking spell slot.
Okay.
And I will disguise myself as I want to pick somebody. I hate just going like, oh, generic human. I want to look like Randall's mom.
Can I raise my hand?
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you ever lock eyes with Luca?
I don't think I did. No, I saw his weird silhouette.
Yeah.
You've seen
Mill.
Chris disguised as
Yeah.
Luca like gazillion
But
times,
do we
though.
know that he's disguising himself as Luca?
Yeah?
When
Did we
Chris
all?
describes himself as Luca, he describes himself as Luca as he saw him, which is like the lower mouth part in a hood. The
Okay.
upper face we never really saw. I think Deirdre saw Luca's full face, but you guys
Okay.
didn't. Yeah.
I would like to change my answer.
Okay.
I want to be Tin and Lorg.
Okay. So this bright violet, not bright violet, silver and black robe, uh, sort of salt and pepper long hair, braided goatee, and with like these 3 brass rings. This Hollywood tan over yourself. Yeah, you're 10 Lorg.
And I will just keep walking in a general direction, minding my business and sticking to the shadows. And I'll probably pass those 2 at some point, but I again will just not make eye contact and just continue to walk somewhere. Am I allowed to be in this weird little like in between zone?
Seemingly you are. There's a couple people that walk here, but it's not like super populated. It's like it's not like a main street or anything.
Yeah.
There's traffic, but it's seemingly just seemingly people avoid it just because it's kind of like a weird spot to be in the neighborhood. You have this big fantastical steampunk city, then you just have this very dreary prison. So it's like unless people walk there and they need to be there, seemingly there's not a whole lot of foot traffic. You do see carts that like do need to use this road just for efficiency's sake, but yeah, there's people. Not a whole lot, but there's people.
Okay. And
Okay.
I will just stay to the shadows and
So as in the shadows or out into the street.
I'll stay in the street, but I'm gonna mind my business, keep my head up.
Okay. Okay, so you're sort of just, marching along, nothing wrong. You exit the corner just in time to see Boggy's still on the opposite side of the fence, just looking at Rin, and you see Rin kick off one of the auxiliary buildings and just do a flip over the front fence and just goes to your position where you were.
Wait,
Uh,
so
it's-
she came from the other side of the fence to be here?
yes.
Oh, I see.
She kicked off one of the auxiliary buildings and then leaped over the fence. Make an insight check on. Make a deception check.
Sure thing. Fuck, I forget that there's... She's probably like really wise. That's not...
You roll pretty good. Okay. You guys are about 30 feet from each other at this point. You're just trying to walk. Just, not with an air of confidence, just an air of normality. As you lock eyes for a moment, then she sort of just looks at you and then just looks away and begins to walk to that corner where you're hiding. And she sort of just peeks her head out and looks in.
When I lock eyes with her, I'll just give her like a little respectful nod and go about my day, keep walking.
Yeah, she doesn't nod back. She sort of locks eyes, you nod, and she just continues on. Looks to that corner where you're hiding before. And then you hear Boggy shout something in a language you don't understand. And then you see Rin walk up the fence, crouch down real low, and just literally 12-foot vertical leap over the fence.
Fuck off.
Yeah, and the 2 join back together and begin walking back to the main gate. Or at least in that direction of it.
Is that like the opposite direction of where I'm going?
Yes.
Good.
So you're going away from the prison, at least on the one side of it, and they're going back to the center.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, but walking around, make another perception check for me, both of you.
Can I use Azik or you want me to?
Up to you.
You said perception?
Perception.
Yeah, I'm not looking through his eyes. I'm just kind of having him give me heads up.
Okay.
Oh, it sucks. That's a 12.
Okay. Okay, so walking along the perimeter, don't see anything else suspicious or anything of note. You do see another checkpoint here as well, another gate that you could possibly go through as well. But eventually you do hit the edge, at least on the street, the edge of the prison. You could begin to try to walk in between buildings, but it seems that is a little bit more guarded. You're currently on a public area, but once you begin to go closer to the prison along the sort of side here, it becomes a little bit stranger necessarily.
Yeah, I don't know where me and Jen are going, but I think because I know I'm fully out of a lot of resources, we probably need to regroup with just the two of us, it seems. But whatever direction we walk from here on, I will continue to walk away from the prison. Like, we're not going in that direction anymore. Just, I guess, towards the regular part of town.
Okay. All right. Any point in particular, or just away?
Is there any no, I guess like an inn or something, if we're relatively familiar with the area. We've been here like 1 or 2 times.
Yeah, there's a couple smaller inns that aren't the ones you've been to. You find a nearby-ish the prison, probably another like 5 minutes walks from where you were at the edge of the prison. There's a small tavern called the Rusty Duck. It's fairly small. It looks like they sell drinks, seemingly. The interior is not. It's not really anything of note. It's not super dirty to be noteworthy. It's not super clean enough to be noteworthy. It is a bog standard inn.
What's the crowd look like here? Is it quiet?
There is none. You are the only people in here currently.
Excellent.
There is a single there's a single woman behind the bar. This sort of half orcish woman, looks older in her years. Kind of this straggly brown hair just coming out of this fairly square-shaped head, and she's just sort of polishing this glass and is very meticulous about it.
All right, I will approach her.
Okay. You walk in. You're currently the only people here, so all attention's on you. Well, hello. Welcome to the Rusty Duck. Food, drink, anything, rooms?
Rooms, please, if you have any with 2 beds, perhaps.
We have 1 room with 2 beds, yes. Were you having a companion later? Who should I be expecting?
No, it's just for me.
Oh, of course, I apologize, didn't mean to. Question, yes. That'll be 1 silver piece for the night.
I will give her a gold piece and just say, keep the change.
Well, thank you very much, sir. I'll bring room service up to your room if that is agreeable with you. Customary drink and breakfast in the morning.
Sounds good. I appreciate it.
Right. And she begins to rattle under the counter and just begins to pull out a box of keys. It sounds like there's a lot more in there, and you sort of get a peek in. It is a single set of keys and just a lot of ball bearings for some reason. And she picks out one room key, the only key she had, and just hands it to you. That will be the only room in the hallway to your right.
Thank you. And I will skedaddle my way there.
Okay.
God, this feels like going back to our roots, you know, like early level D&D, staying in taverns and shit. This is what it's like. This is what it's like not having a fucking caster.
Caster flying around all over the place. It's lonely up on the top.
We don't have our caster or our dragon. Ugh.
I mean, you could fix that second part very easily.
Yeah, but I don't want to get us in any more trouble. I don't want to bring him to the city or anything.
Just kill Polaris. It's fine. Just yourself. Slice his throat. Okay, but you eventually find the only room to the right hallway. It almost looks like it seems like a type of hallway to end in a bathroom, but it's just a single hallway to a single door. You go in. It is a fairly clean-ish room. It's like clean enough to not be gross. 2 beds, just 2 beds, nothing else in there.
This is fine. And I will pick up Jana and just plop her on the other bed.
I
And is
wait. Is someone coming to check on this room?
I think she said she would give us room service in the morning, but I don't know if that means she'll walk in unannounced. I think she was.
Okay.
will
For
give
now,
us room service.
that's tomorrow. Okay, I'm not. I'm Jana again.
okay. So you revert back to Jana, the feline shape growing into a diminutive humanoid shape, but the fur sort of sinks back into your skin, and all the equipment erupts from yourself.
Gross.
Animorphs.
I was literally thinking about animals.
But it's
I look at
2 of
Zero
you
and
in a
go,
room by
what the fuck are we gonna do?
I'm just gonna like sit on the bed with like my head in my hands, just like shaking my head, like I don't fucking know, dude. Like we can't go bond him out like we did with Chris. We're all literally wanted. I do not know. Maybe getting some rest would be
Yeah,
a
replenish
choice.
spell slots.
Yeah, we can't really do much for Riley or Chris on running on empty, you know.
What's Chris? Do we even know what Chris is doing?
Oh,
He just blasted off.
you watched him teleport as he does, and then you saw his humanoid frame get shot several times, and then he disappeared like into the clouds. And that was the last you heard or saw of Chris.
I guess then I'll I'll adjust what I said previously. I don't know what we're gonna do to help Riley. And also what the fuck happened to Chris?
Chris,
Yep.
an hour does pass, actually. Just in time, as you... how into the lecture are you? You know everything here. Are you listening intently, or are you dozing off because you're bleeding from every wound?
I'm passively listening.
Okay.
Like if something catches my attention, maybe I'll pay attention more. But
Yeah, like a podcast. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So you're sort of sitting there for an hour. You do get a short rest if you want to take it.
Sure. Do I just use the hit dice?
You can use as many hit
gain-
dice as you'd like. And I think also because you're a wizard, you get some spell slots back from, I don't remember what the feature was called. Arcane Recovery. Yeah, but you're just sitting there passively listening. Yeah. How many hit dice are you rolling, actually?
Let's see.
It's kind of like 21 hit points you're healing. 4 hit dice. And you regain half your hit dice on a long rest. Or half your maximum hit dice.
Maybe I'll roll some more.
Yeah, it's up to you. Is it the first time you guys rolled for hit dice? Like rolled hit dice healing on a short rest?
Not the first, but definitely one of the first.
Like 1 of 9 times in this whole campaign you've rolled for a short rest hit dice. It's a good amount of hit, but Jesus.
Look at these stacked fucking rolls.
Nothing below 4 yet. I mean, he has a D6 hit dice, so it's not a whole lot. It's an extra 28 hit points there. Solid. Yeah, you're sort of sitting here yeah, passively listening to the lecture, nursing your wounds. And over time, over the next 30 minutes, you do feel like the seat becoming wet with your blood. And you're sort of just trying to hide it. Which you managed to do so successfully through the whole lecture, as eventually the lecture concludes. Some of the just the students completely checked out at this point. There's a guy in the corner that's completely passed out, and eventually you hear this bell at the top of the room as you see this arcane glyph sort of show up, and you hear this bell. Almost simultaneously, every single student begins to just close up their books and just begin to walk out of the door, including that guy passing on the corner. You just hear the teacher, remember to fill out the worksheets from A through B. That is due tomorrow morning. Papers on my desk. 8 o'clock sharp.
I'll head out and pick up a worksheet.
Okay, yeah, you pick up worksheets A through B. Basic stuff. You could do this in like an hour. But yeah, you just enrolled yourself at the school, huh? Just by yourself. Yeah,
I
and
can
you go.
I can sell answers to the homework as a
Probably
as
more
a
lucrative than
little
using.
scheme.
Yeah, probably more lucrative than using rigged dice, base boosted.
Samsung?
Cheating on homework, go boom. All right.
My mic fell over.
That's like the beginning of a dubstep song. Jesus. My God,
The literal drop.
yeah, literally. By definition, yes. You walk out of the room, exiting the premise, and you are greeted with this cacophony of just walking students. Chatter immediately begins to just take over the hallway. You see people of different just races and genders and the ages even. Like there's some young, like almost toddlers, or that they're gnomes, possibly. And you see like very old people just like walking back and forth every single shape. You see an ogre just walk through, and like almost like people just part ways, like it's all normal. And it's just like it is this chaos that you haven't really subjected yourself to academically. And it's a little bit strange. I think every single person here is either really intelligent or also magically inclined, or both. And there's a lot going on here that you don't really see as part of like being a venturer and like the guild and stuff. This is student academia. Where are you going?
Interesting.
It's kind of this wave of fucking bodies right now. And like it almost takes the form of like a river. And like there's just these pathways that they just carve out for themselves. And you see these people weaving in and out. You see people just give up entirely and just cast fly, and they're just hovering above every single head over here. Where are you going?
Yeah, at the moment. Well, actually, first I wanted to ask, how many spell slots do I regain?
Check the arcane recovery feature. That should say. Arcane recovery. Once per day when you finish a short rest, you choose spell slots. Spell slots can have a combined level that is equal to or less than half your wizard level rounded up, and none of them can be 6th level or higher. So that would be, what is that? Fucking 17 by 2. Oops, that's times 2. So 2. So it'd be 9 spell slots of any level that is not 6th or higher.
Okay.
So it could be, yeah, so it could be like a 5th level and 4th level, or, you know, like a couple 2nd levels and a 3rd level, you know, all the math there.
Okay. Got that down. So I guess at this point I'm gonna be like, I'm not sure where to go. I'm just gonna tap someone on the shoulder and say, where's the headmaster's office?
Okay. Yeah, you grab this this tabaxi girl, and she sort of just looks at you. Headmaster's John Hatt's office that way. And she sort of points to a hallway in a direction. It's sort of like a T junction, and while all these students are going straight like this river, she's sort of pointing you across the way. Where from there, hard to tell. But the moment she gives you direction, she just walks to her class. Not a lot of
then
times, anyway.
I'll just head over where she pointed.
Okay.
Walking with the flow.
Yeah, just walking with the flow. Yeah, it's kind of hard to navigate this body heavy wave of people as you haven't figured out exactly the exact gait or speed you're walking in, so people are you're either going too slow and there's like a huge lineup behind you, like this congestion, or you're going too fast and just body check people, and the scene is happening to you as well as you're sort of just weaving your way in and out. After a couple minutes of weaving, you hear that same bell, 3 tones, and that Arcane Sigil show up, and everyone eventually begins to filter out pretty quickly at this point. And there's a couple stragglers that are eventually running, full sprinting to wherever they're going, and you are just sort of left alone in the hallway and just free to go. You keep walking down the hallway. Very unfamiliar to you. There's not really a whole lot of signage either. Eventually you do see something like 3D, 3EF. Like, it doesn't mean anything to you. But make a perception check.
Okay. We did go into the headmaster's office,
Yes.
right?
So you have been in the academy around this floor before, but it's a big school, and
Yeah.
that was, you were guided up there, so you're trying to figure out your way to a familiar spot currently.
What was the check again?
Perception. Okay, Jesus. Okay, keeping an eye out. It does take you a little bit. You're sort of wandering around. About 5 minutes in, you do find a familiar-ish section. It's like a sort of switchback stairway up to this hallway. Everything's sort of made of wood, and there's these carpets of blue. They all get very much messed up in the hustle, but then they sort of magically correct themselves to be perfectly parallel and straight again. You also hear from the direction where you came from, this sort of hissing sound. Almost gasping.
I'm gonna look that way.
Okay. I sort of look back towards you. You see this floating specter. No torso. It is just this. It's just the upper body, and then just fades into this ethereal gas, and it looks like the upper half of this older noblewoman almost. This very long, flowy dress that sort of tapers off into nothing, and it's just this spectral blue, just noblewoman just floating, and she's sort of just looking around. What do you think?
I'll go to her.
Okay.
See and see if she notices me.
Okay, as you sort of walk towards her, you see her just stop and stare at you for a little bit. What are you doing? Just walking towards her and just talking to her?
Yeah, I'll say, "What's your name?"
You see that her eyes go pitch black, and it becomes this dark void as her jaw just sort of elongates, and you just hear screeching in your ear, "Truancy!" And she lunges for you and goes for your throat.
I run.
Okay, make a dexterity saving throw. You manage to escape her grasp, and you just begin to sprint, and you hear behind you, "There will be no tardiness in this school." And she's chasing you. You see this hovering spectral woman just chasing you in the hallways, and you just sort of sprint. It's a horror movie in the middle of daytime in a school. As sort of running along the hallway, you see another spectral ghost. This is an older gentleman with handlebar mustache. Truancy! Did I hear Truancy? Tardiness! And another ghost begins chasing you. What are you doing?
I'm gonna go the way that I was going to go, where the headmaster's office is.
Okay. You do eventually, like, at this point you did find something, a piece of familiarity. You're gonna be chased by two ghosts. They're both gonna try to grab you again. Make a dexterity saving throw.
Oh.
Okay. You feel a hand grab your ankle, and you just trip, falling face first into the ground. You feel another hand grab you. They're very cold. You see these pair of spectral ghosts begin to just grab you, and their eyes are black. And as you're sort of just struggling against them, you're trying to grab them. They have tangible form, but then you feel yourself sinking, like through the floor, and you begin to see just nothing, just black, and you just see their faces. And eventually, you just find yourself in a room, not like a dungeon, but it is this small room with a small coffee table and just green chairs with a cloth padding, green cloth padding on them. There is a single door, and there are two other people here. They're both students, and the ghosts sort of just look at you. Contemplate what you did, and they just go off into their wherever they are. They just phase through the walls.
I asked the students, so are we still in the real world, or are we on a different plane?
You see the two students here. One is this human kid, probably like 17, 18 or so, and it just like looks at you. What were you doing? Yeah? You got hit with the truancy ghosts.
I was trying to go to the headmaster's office.
Well, if you raise a big enough stink here, maybe they'll put you back up there. You're gonna get a big talking to. Again.
What did you do?
No, same as you. Truant. I don't want to be here.
They're very strict about that, aren't they?
Yeah, I mean, if you come here, you're supposed to study and do whatever they want you to. Unless it wasn't your choice. Big grand magisters and wizards and whatever.
I'm actually gonna go to the door, see, try and open it.
Okay. You open it. You tried to open it. It's locked. The other student here is a halfling girl, sort of black curly hair, really thick rimmed glasses that it just a lot enlarge on the eyes far too much, and she's sort of just looking around nervously. Sort of looks at you. They don't open the door until they take you out, I think, right? And she looks at their human boy. Yeah, someone will be coming by shortly.
How long do they... Or, well, you said shortly, but is that an hour? Or
Couple
is that
minutes.
Oh.
Just sit tight, kick your feet up, read one of the newspapers. 3 years out of date.
That could be interesting. I will actually read a newspaper and see if I find anything interesting, like
Okay.
What big event happened?
3 years ago. These newspapers are pretty old. The headline: Prime Minister Kirill Jarnhan elected again. And then it goes through this whole political process of just voting, and just Kirill Jarnhan won. These some opponents, ones that promise other different things, and technological reform and a foreign policy. But they didn't win by a landslide victory. Kirill Jarnhat. Headline headline article.
Hmm. I think I recall something about that election. Or at least I would be in the country during that time, right?
Yeah, you were sort of in the mountains, so Cillian politics didn't hit you too much, but yeah, nothing's really changed where you were. You didn't you got some word and stuff, but yeah.
Yeah. Nothing wasn't too up to date with it, just maybe briefly heard things.
Yeah, old news for you. Yeah, what are you doing? You are currently trapped in a single door room with 2 other students.
Is my disguise self coming up?
That's a good point, actually. You can try to re-up it if you want to at some point during all this, or you want to
Yeah.
just drop your guys.
Yeah, I'll redo it.
Okay. Should have silently just cast a spell.
Yeah.
And to re-up your disguise self.
Yep. Probably just as a general student.
Yeah, just a very humdrum student. Okay. You sort of wait a couple minutes.
Actually, I'll eat the food that Riley cooked up.
Right. That gives you temporary hit points. How many?
Something like 6, I think.
Okay. Sure, yeah, get 6 temporary hit points for now.
Okay.
Okay. After a couple minutes of waiting here, eventually, a elven man, kind of short, and just well-groomed, short brunette hair, sort of just almost it has a very long face, but it looks like these little black speckles are just dotting it. And notice that his fingers are sort of tipped with black and green, like his skin, not like a glove or anything. Like his skin is black and green on around the tips of fingers. He sort of points towards that human kid. Oscar, your turn. Human kid sort of looks towards you. Wish me luck. And he just walks out of the door. Door closes behind. Doing anything else?
I ask the other student what's their name.
I'm Kelsey. Not really supposed to be here. I got caught. I wasn't trying to skip. I tripped and I was too slow. What's your name?
I'm Chrysostomus.
It's a long name. Are you from here?
Not exactly. I'm actually from Nelad.
That's really impressive, actually. You don't really get into these the academy unless you have a lot of talent or connections. So if you came from a small town, you must be supremely talented.
You could say that. I have some tricks up my sleeve.
What's your speciality?
Well, I did my studies on conjuration.
Yeah. So do you have a spell that could teleport us both out of here then, huh? Probably not.
Is there a hole in the door?
No, not really. You try to look for a crack. Like underneath the door or something.
Sure. I'll try and look for a crack.
Sure. Make a perception check. The door's pretty tightly sealed, but you do notice around the frame where the door actually opens, there is a small little gap that you could barely see out of.
Okay, I say, let's see. Oh. No, not Misty Step. Which one did I want? I'll do
Dimension door?
Yeah, Dimension Door.
Okay, Dimension door you don't need line of sight to do, actually.
Oh, okay, then yeah. I'll just I'll use Dimension Door across the door, then just a couple feet across the door.
Okay. Yeah, so you just
say-
dimension door through the door.
Yeah, I'll say, come here.
Why?
Well, you gave me an idea, and now we're gonna do it.
Do what exactly?
Teleport
I was
out of here.
I was joking. I was joking.
Are you willing to do it?
Make a persuasion check. No, I'm not. I'm gonna sit here and explain my situation as she sort of just like goes back to her seat and just sort of straight back looks towards the wall.
What happens if I go out and teleport?
You'll be brought to the sort of lobby of the lobby of the office of Mr. Robbins.
Who is Mr. Robbins again?
He's the not assistant. I guess he's assistant teacher to headmaster Kirill Jarn Hat. Sort of the he teaches alchemy, and so does Professor Jarn Hat.
What happens if we wait here?
Mr. Robbins will probably come and ask you why you skipped and how you got caught and just an earful.
I guess I'll just wait then.
It's a good idea. I mean, it probably took a lot of work for you to get here, right? So you don't want to get expelled.
It would matter too much for me, actually.
Why? I mean, like you came from Nelid, small town.
I mean, you can definitely learn in other places.
I mean, I suppose you could, but this is the biggest place. You know, there's not a whole lot of magic studies or mechanical processes outside of Valtis.
You have to find the right people. Fortunately, I had studies from my mentor, who actually taught me all about conjuration, and I gotta say, he can be scary sometimes.
Well,
But
let's
also
see.
very cool.
Let's see, Mr. Robbins. He has a temper, so buckle in, and we'll just weather the storm. Okay, so you're gonna just sit down and wait.
Yeah, I'll wait.
Okay. While that's happening, Zero Jana. You are currently in the only room of the Rusty Duck. What would you like to do, if anything? Just sleep?
Sleep?
What time is it right now?
High noon.
It's only 12? I thought
It's
you
only
said it was
12.
afternoon. No, like I thought it was the
Yeah,
evening time.
It was 11 when you guys started, and then it's been like about roughly an hour since.
What if? Okay, wait. So we need to get back into the jail, right?
At some point, yeah, we're gonna have to.
What if we slept now? Do you think we could like disguise ourselves as guards and go enter?
Absolutely.
Night shift, baby.
Yeah, as long as we can go in there with full resources, I think we
Yeah.
I don't know what they have in there. I don't know what they have going on in there, but I feel like we'll be okay.
I can't disguise self, but I can be a helpful animal again.
Absolutely. I'm down for that. Let's just I guess I'll set Isaac up just to like perch on if the bed has like a the foot of the bed, I guess, area, a place for Isaac to chill out at. I'll have him keep watch, and I guess I will get my long rest. And again, I feel like we're returning to our fucking roots of like we take we take an 8-hour rest in the middle of the day.
Yeah.
Middle of the dungeon.
Can I just to do it? We don't have to use it. Can I use minor illusion to show Zero what the guard who temporarily adopted me looks like?
Yeah. Yeah, it's a
Then
it's
that's
like
just
a
an option. Should we need it?
Gotcha.
adoption guard. Sort of a
Just because it's a real guy. Sometimes that might hurt us to be a real person, but I could also be being helpful than like a complete rando, you know? It could go both ways.
take advantage of him.
That's what cats do.
This is true. Cats only evolved to be they are the way they are so they can eat forever.
Are you able to cast alarm in here for us? Just so we don't have our elves to keep watch for us? Like while we rest.
Wait, what is it?
I'm asking, do you have the resources to cast alarm?
Oh yeah, that's a
in here?
cantrip.
I think it's a first level spell, I believe.
I thought I had it as a... Whatever it is, I definitely have the resources.
Okay. Yeah, so you can cast you can cast alarm around the first level spell. Just some
cast
silver
it at-
thread.
I keep clicking over to Giorgio's sheet.
You cast it at what?
I don't think there's anything if I cast it at a larger level.
I don't think so. No, it doesn't seem like it. So yeah, just first level's fine. Yeah, so you just lay out the silver thread just around the room. If anything enters this proximity that is not that you do not give permission to already, it will set off an alarm in your either audibly or in your brain. It's up to you.
I'll set it off in our brains and set it so like absolutely no one comes in besides me or Zero. Because even if it's Chris, like I want to be woken up for that.
Okay, this is true. All right, yeah. So you begin setting the alarm, just spooling the silver thread around the entire room to make this small perimeter. It's like spider silk thin, this little perimeter. Very hard to see. And if anything breaks it, you'll know about it.
Now we're really in our D&D roots.
Okay. So, you guys taking a long rest then?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, as you're getting settled in, an hour passes. You begin to hear some footsteps coming in, some people, possibly patrons. Both of you make perception checks, actually.
Can I make one for Isaac?
Sure. It's not reliant on sight, though.
I see. Okay, I'll just make one.
Is
for
it
you.
reliant on
Okay.
smell?
Oh,
It is not. Okay.
How am I more perceptive when I'm fucking asleep?
Always on edge.
Yeah. When you're actively trying to perceive, you're worse. It's just, yeah, when you're latently have high perception, just, when you're actively trying to use it, it doesn't work. Yeah, so about an hour into your sleep goes by. Zero, you pick up heavier footfalls, armored footfalls. Hard to tell how many, but like you begin to hear dins of conversation through the door across the hallway. You can't make out exactly what is being said necessarily, but you definitely hear those footfalls for a little bit. You hear some brief snippets of conversation. Keep an eye out for Elf, Blue with Xodiacs. They are... And then you hear the voice of the patron. Yes, I'll make shit. Let you know. Just brief little flashes of conversation.
Gotcha.
Take these. Keep an eye out for the headshots. They're on the post. After a couple minutes of conversation, you hear the footfalls leave. And then you just the regular dins and tavern and atmospheric noises you've heard before.
I see. I will then just lay there and just stare at the door and have a hard time falling back asleep.
Okay. All right. So the two not elves ones actually require 8 hours of healthy sleep, taking a long rest. Riley, is there anything more you wish to do here?
Not really, no. When I was looking at like the padding on the walls, did it feel frail?
No, actually, they feel very stiff. Like it's not like a soft cushion. It is like hard, but it's not as hard as like solid rock. There is a slight bit of give to it.
All right, yeah, he'll just chill out and reinitiate a staring contest.
Okay. For you, it's been an hour already, and there's really been no change. Another hour passes. Another figure walks into the room. A older human man, noticeably aged, but kept some elements of youth. Perfectly black, full hair, head of hair, and just wearing this very, very threatening looking set of spiky black armor. Met him once before. This is Warden Farron Wesley.
As I thought.
Sort of walks in and just like pats the shoulder of the guard currently sitting, and then guard leaves and he sort of just takes a seat. He sort of presses a button and you hear this sort of almost like microphone feedback, and this little arcane sigil appears just over the glass itself. Very faint, but it's noticeable and just slowly thrumming with energy. So, Hello again.
Ah, Mr. Warden! It's regrettable to, be faced with you again in these circumstances. I wish they were more amicable.
Yes, I wish so too. You seemed the upstanding sort, and it was a bit of a shock to see your faces on the next batch of wanted bills.
What I've learned in my travels is that being a good person doesn't necessarily mean being a lawful one.
Well, that may be true in some cities, but Sunday's pretty good. Students read so far.
What did he just say?
Sunday's pretty good. Students read so far. I mean, that's not good. What is? I like to consider myself someone pretty lawful. Try to do the right thing.
Could you do me a favor then?
Depends on the favor. I mean, if you want different condiments in your sandwiches, yes, I can do that.
Oh no, I was thinking something a little bit different. It just kind of seems odd to me, how, the Zodiacs go about. We save people from the dens of, villainous scum, and then we end up in prison, and the perpetrators do not.
Look, it's not my job to question why you're on the handbill. It's my job to make sure that whoever's on the handbill is behind bars. And I know for a fact that even people that can do good things and have done good things can't change. I've seen it. So whether you think that a few good deeds, even done justly, rightly, and with good intentions, you still can end up on the wrong side of the law and do bad things.
I suppose. So then, what's next for me?
Well, honestly, I don't know. I mean, I got word from the Prime Minister just to keep you held here for now. So here you'll live for I don't know how long, but you'll be here. And like it's I know it's a funny thing to say to you when you're behind bars, but it's honestly the beholder cells are not as bad. It's, magically cleaned, magically cured food.
Yeah, it's actually kind of nice in here, I can't lie. I'm gonna miss, doing things, but,
I mean, that's the price you pay when you run afoul of the law, so can't get everything.
So, these wanted posters, right? Is my ultimate fate then gonna be delivered to the Arbiter?
Most likely, but again, it's under normal circumstances, yes. But Prime Minister told me to hold you here, so that's what I'll do.
Yeah, that's probably fair enough. I mean, I did notice that I walked in here alone, so my companions are out there somewhere.
Sure.
I don't know what their intentions are, as I have no contact and cannot warn them to not come rescue me. Though they, of course, are also wanted. I'm sure they'll be trying to dodge, possibly leave the city, go about their business. I'm not sure. We were just here to, prep for our next adventure, deliver some people home who were, kidnapped. That's about it, really.
The girl and the merchant.
Yeah.
Oh, well, for what it's worth, they vouched for you. But again, good deeds doesn't mean necessarily you're gonna be viewed pleasantly by the law.
Right. Then perhaps I'll shift my favor to, I don't know, perhaps not delivering me to the Arbiter? That's probably not going to end well anyway. I don't mind sitting put here for a bit if it means, no danger comes of it.
Yeah,
Contrary to what you might believe, I'm not looking for a fuss.
Okay, so let's have a conversation then.
Right, sure.
You what exactly did you do to get yourself put on that handbill?
We went to Thane. Probably not a good start, but hear me out. A friend of ours had been, convicted of a crime that wasn't really that bad to warrant being shipped off to Thane. He was, imprisoned rightfully within Obethis, and then I believe, due to our perhaps influence and another what's the word? Party with much power over the continent. They were not happy with our investigation of their crimes. And so, one, they imprisoned High Priest Rether, and two, they shifted Merrick's prison sentence to be... Sorry, I don't say Merrick. Shifted our companion's prison sentence to be carried out in Thane, where most likely would have died or been executed or whatever crazy shit that happens there. It's not pleasant over there. So, we went, and on our way there, we got murked by a dragon. An ancient white one. We thought that would be the end of us, and it's probably also not a great thing to, have wandering around your continent to begin with. So when the Arbiter got word of our arrival, we struck a deal with the Arbiter to, ensure our freedom, and we ended up not going through with it after seeing the conditions in Teague. That's it. That's it, really.
Did you kill the dragon?
Yeah, we killed the dragon.
And you don't see anything, not contradictory, but sort of not understanding in what you said?
Well, I put it as simply as I possibly can, I think.
Right.
We did indeed betray the Arbiter, which is why, I'm not coming out here. I'm not coming out here with a deal because, after, confirming that, it probably is highly suspect that the Xodiacs are ones to go back on their word. I don't really want that perception of us. It's not entirely true, so I'm not going to attempt to.
So if the betrayal, I'm assuming that's the treason on the handbill, is true, I'm assuming the jailbreak is true as well.
Well, yes, I just described it.
Mm-hmm. See, I think maybe that's why you're in the cell. I mean, that seems obvious, but I mean, you said a lot of things about how you're good people, and I do believe you, because you have done good. I've heard stuff from the Gatherers Guild. You've done good. I've heard people. There's two ex-prisoners. You say it from indentured servitude. If they're to believe, it's good. But your story just it's more frightening than anything. Because I mean no offense when I say this, but when I look at you, I see someone that is able to fell a dragon, someone of great power, and is also unwilling to be checked by anything. Even going as far as going back on your own word, on a deal, and I've seen that snowball. I've seen that snowball into, well, you won't hold me down. I'm gonna kill everyone in front of me.
Oh, I think if that were the case, your guards would be dead right now. I could have very easily escaped. But
See,
like I
that's
said,
my point.
I'm not
Hey,
interested in
stop.
creating. Yes, go on.
That's my point. You could have, and it was you that chose not to.
Correct.
But how do we know tomorrow that you're not going to? Or the day after, or a year from now? Law. That's why I exist. That's why cities exist. Everyone working together. People checking other people. When a band of adventurers, powerful adventurers, can just run around with impunity and do whatever they want because the world's their oyster, well, that scares everyone. So, again, even if you're good people, there's a reason why you're in the cell. And I
won't
do
debate
thank you
that.
for being truthful.
It's got fucking points.
Anyway, I didn't mean to take up so much of your time.
No, I appreciate the conversation. There's not much else going on in here.
Well, I'll leave you to it. Just I don't know what's going in store for the future, but just again, you've done good. We appreciate that. But if you ask me, you deserve to be in there. Good night, Riley. And he's
One second, Warden. Did he leave or did he stay?
he's about to press a button, but the sigil is still up there. He's just looking up at you.
All right, I'll acquiesce that I deserve to be in here. In your opinion, do you think I deserve to be in the presence of the Arbiter again?
I'd say yes,
Yes? Okay.
because you, 1, illegally entered the city. 2, broke out a prisoner. 3, went back on a deal with them, even though it's not technically legal, but technically real. So, from reports, technically prisoners as well. After that, because again, unlawfully entered the city. It's unchecked power that scares me the most.
I suppose that's fair. In that case, I have an argument.
Yes.
There is a more dangerous unchecked power if you keep me in here. That our entire, breaking out of this prisoner was based on to begin with.
Go on.
This is going to sound like, no, what's the word? Heresy? Let me check the definition of heresy. Sure, why not? Something a bit heretical. But, adventurers get around. We glean information that normal people or people stuck in cities would not otherwise have. On our travels, we have encountered bases of what can only be described as invaders. They plop down from between the stars. They bring these black obelisks, pure crystalline, very difficult to break, use them as bases to operate, and they infect basically every living thing that comes into contact with their essence, as it were. The reason they are so dangerous and warrant someone of the Xodiacs caliber to go after them is because they are uncaring. They do not have morals. They are just here to eat, to assimilate. And we know not when they will make their big move. But once they do, if you don't have another power like us to check them, all of Hyde Grey might be in danger. Not just Sylnia. not just the continent here, everyone. And it's very difficult to sit idly by here and allow that to happen.
Make a persuasion check.
Persuasion. Wow. Yeah, he's not buying it at all.
He sort of looks at you. And he sort of just nods a little bit. His hands stops hovering over the finger, or sorry, his finger's still hovering over the button. And he sort of looks up at you. I don't doubt you've seen a lot in your travels, done a lot in your travels, good and bad. But if what you say is true, then, and if some great enemy is gonna fall down out of the sky for us, well, Sylvia will deal with it as we always have, together. And
Then I wish you luck.
Well, I wish you, I hope the best for you. Anything I can add to your sandwiches?
No.
All right. Well, tuck in. It's gonna be a long while, so get comfortable.
Yeah.
So I'll be in the morning to change your bedpan. Good night.
Good night.
Presses the button. The sigil fades and it's just a glass window again. Sort of exits and that same guard comes in, takes over watch.
The dice said no.
Dice said no. D&D. That's how it goes sometimes.
Guys, are we the bad guys?
Nah.
Yeah.
We're like anti-heroes at worst.
We're pretty okay, I think. We do all right.
Is Chris the bad guy?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Confirmed.
What's a bad guy?
The Billie Eilish song from a couple of years ago.
Love the song.
So, okay, so with the Jana Zero taking naps these times and Riley in for the long haul in prison so far, it is only the Harry Potter arc going on with Chris so far.
Do I remember? Like, did we meet Mr. Robbins?
You have not. You haven't met a whole lot of teachers, honestly. There's you met Professor Querrin, who was the Satyr Conjuration professor, and you met the headmaster, who's also apparently the professor of alchemy and also the prime minister of the city or the country, even. So
I remember the name Mr. Robbins or Professor Robbins or somewhere.
actually, no, you may have been the yeah. No, I think he's one of the first teachers you met. Actually, I think. Never mind, met him. Nice enough guy, but bad with the temper. I forgot about that part. Yeah. I think Mr. Robbins was the one you found like eating at a food cart a while ago.
Oh yeah. It was like during the Gathering Guild.
Right. Okay, but a couple minutes pass. Mr. Robbins, the elven man, comes up. Opens the door. Kelsey, you're up next. She sort of stands up. Oh boy. And then she begins to walk out with all their books in tow. You are currently alone in the room. Anything like to do or just waiting?
Can I check this room?
Sure. What are you checking for?
Actually, maybe I'll do detect magic.
Sure. Sure. You sort of ping detect magic. Do you gather this entire room is kind of magical? The entire room sort of has dim glow of conjuration magic. And with your background, probably you can wager this is some sort of small pocket dimension.
So some sort of demi-plane.
Yeah. It's very minor. It's just like this tiny little pocket plane here. That's where you currently are.
Okay. I don't know if there's much I can do at this moment.
Okay.
I'll
So,
just wait.
all right. Wait another couple minutes. Eventually the door opens. You, what's your name?
Um, well, Chris.
Chris. Well, follow me.
I follow him.
Yeah, he guides you out into this small, like sort of office space. It's like carpeted with this very short-haired, woven carpet. You see a desk and like a small little magical lamp. You look behind you, that door is not even there. Just a solid wall of wood paneling. Sort of walks you over to that desk. You see there's a single chair there. And he sort of walks behind his desk, sits in a very large leather chair. You sit down, I'm assuming?
Yep.
Yep, so he sits down. So, Chris, who's your homeroom teacher? He begins
Well-
like filing, like going through filing cabinets to find like some sort of paper.
Well, I'm gonna be honest with you. My homeroom teacher is Mr. Bratchel.
He sort of looks at you. I don't think we have a Mr. Pratchell, the employee.
Not just because he's in his mansion. He's having fun with a god.
Chris. I'm not in the mood for jokes. Who's your homeroom teacher?
Okay, I'll be honest with you. I'm not actually a student. And then
What?
I'll say we've met before. Back a few weeks ago during the Gathering Guild. I'm actually Chrysostomus. No, Chrysostomus Killager.
He sort of looks at you for a little bit as he sort of goes to his desk and like gets a small little pouch, this little leather pouch. He pours this silver dust into his hands, like a small little pinch. He sort of just leans over and just throws it in your face. It tastes like the peel of a lemon. It's kind of nice actually a little bit. It's kind of spritzy. Then you look down and your form is gone. You're just Chrysostomus.
I like that powder stuff.
Thank you. Made it myself. So you're the fellow that I got guided to the Gatherers Guild. Got you employed for a little bit, and then you got yourself put on wanted posters.
Well,
Okay, so explain to me why you're here. How about that? Let's start with that.
I guess just once experiencing the hostility, I thought perhaps I could negotiate. And that's why I've come here.
To turn yourself in.
Not turn myself in, but negotiate or plead our case as the Zodiacs.
So you decided to... The best course of action for this is to break into the academy and also the main governmental building.
I mean, I haven't done harm.
He sort of like looks at you as if trying to like reason with a toddler. I'm not... I don't... All I'm saying is that I don't see how your course of action here is helping your case.
Well, I just wanted to, put into light that we have also done deeds and
jailbreak, apparently. And breaking and entering.
well, there is good reason for that. And I do have evidence. But we might need a little time for that. But there's we've helped the academy before during that emergency in the classroom, which I find a little suspicious. But there is reason for us to perform the jailbreak, mainly because the person that we needed out is considered one of the chosen. And I'm not sure where the academy lies in terms of history or religion or your own personal beliefs, but from what our evidence says, that there are other gods than the 10. And
I'm going to stop you there, because I don't see how any of this relates to you breaking into the school. I'm going to give you exactly 1 minute to tell me why I shouldn't, stick every possible defense in the school on you currently. Because seemingly you wanted to plead your case well. Here I am.
Okay, well, we've helped out in the past. That's my main point. Is that we're not here to cause harm. That our main goal is actually trying to protect the world, not cause harm to it.
From what?
And well, there's several things. One of them being but where we have evidence for invaders or beings from other worlds who have the ability to infect living things. And there's evidence for this around the world in terms of obelisks. They infect the land around it. They infect living things. It's almost like a disease.
Make an insight check.
Make an insight?
You make an insight. You catch something. As you're going through portion of the story, I'll let you finish later. Sorry. The moment you mention Black Obelisk and infecting the land, you see a twinge in his face. Like his face just went from this like abject, not rage, but just like annoyance to like almost as a realization, and then he catches himself and goes back. But you can see even throughout that, his eyes are sort of darting around a little uncomfortably.
I'm getting the sense that you know something.
Continue, sorry.
Well, I have evidence for this.
Show me.
Currently, I'm unable to because I don't have preparations to show you yet. But if you give me time to rest, and if you can put me back in that room, and I'll let you keep my stuff here, and you can just let me rest, and then I can prepare, and then I can show you. I'll let you, and then I'll show you the evidence.
Make a persuasion check. Sort of looks around and like looks at the room. He sort of goes, I cannot keep you here. I'm going to call Black Harbor. You will be arrested. Your things and belongings confiscated. And then from there we'll see.
Do you know things about what I talked about?
That is not pertinent right now. And he sort of waves his fingers around and he sort of points towards behind you, and you see that door still there. Get in.
What are my surroundings like?
It is currently an office, like a very medium-sized office. There is just that wall where that door is now, and there's also one door behind you, probably about like 20 feet away.
I guess I'll get into the where is he telling me to get into?
Here's that same door that sort of disappeared for you before.
Okay.
Are you getting in?
Can I make an insight check to see if it's malicious in intent?
Make another insight check. Okay, that's a pretty good roll. You gather that you're not sure which exactly part of the story that is bothering him, but he's certainly bothered. Something about what you said in your story is causing him to become very uncomfortable to the point he doesn't really know what to do, and he's sort of just biding time until someone who knows what to do better comes along. Sort of stands up, the chair sort of squeaking against the itself. Mostly, it's kind of an old chair. 10 seconds. Into the room. Or I attack. 1. 2. 3. You see he's reaching for something in the drawer.
Okay, I go into the room.
Okay. As you're about to enter the threshold, he sort of puts one hand on your forearm. Belongings on the ground next to the door.
Can I try and sleight of hand my apotheosis vessel so that it's tucked away somewhere?
It's kind of a big thing. You can try make a sleight of hand check with disadvantage, because it is technically dagger. It's kind of longer than a dagger as well. It's kind of this big clunky thing.
Can I turn it into crystal form?
You can. It's about the same length, a bit chunkier. It's probably
okay.
easier to hide the wand. Actually, no, it would be no. It'd be shorter, but it'd be chunkier. So it's kind of a different sort of clunk. Same result regardless. You can try it.
Yeah, I'll try it.
Okay. Oh, Jesus. Did you roll already?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me do contested. Where do you hide your apotheosis vessel?
In my pants, I guess.
Okay. Not
Yeah,
apotheosis
pants.
vessel in your pants, or... Okay, so you drop everything. You drop all the contents of your... You drop your whole bag, your bag of holdings, any other contents on you, but in that process, you slide your apotheosis vessel down your pant leg, and you look back and just continue to, just drop all your belongings on the ground before him. Mr. Robbins doesn't seem to notice. Okay, as you sort of place all your belongings on the ground, he sort of gently nudges you into the room. It's the same room you were in before, that same little pocket dimension lobby, if you will. As he's sort of at the threshold of the door, he points towards you. I'm going to call Black Harbor. You be rested. We'll go from there. And he just closes the door, and you are just alone.
Okay.
Anything you're doing, or are you just going to wait?
Yeah, I'm just gonna wait.
Okay. All right, so you wait a couple minutes, 10 minutes pass by, 20. You don't hear anything. You just hear yourself. You hear the squeaking of your chair. It's this weird sound of a room, and you just hear. After about 45 minutes pass, the door opens, and you're expecting maybe armed guards, possibly peacekeepers. Instead, you see a gnomish man, kind of tall for a gnome, actually. Sort of wild, flared-out hair that sort of fades from brown to gray at the tips, with some thick-lensed goggles, which is atop his head, bound by a leather strap around his head. Dressed in this sort of brown and green coat with a leather apron, thick leather gloves on. You recognize him. This is the headmaster. This is Kirill Jarnhat. Behind him is a older woman. It's kind of hard to tell what race, because she has a gray hood over, and also this gray cloth over her nose and her mouth. So you can see she has dark skin, and she has facial scars, like a lot of them. All of her clothes are gray. There's this very dull, almost cloudy gray. There's this, she wears a fairly thin metal breastplate with some chainmail around it, and she's standing behind him. Kirill Jernhardt sort of walks up. He had a very jovial energy about him before, but he just walks up expressionless towards you. I believe that we have I believe there's a conversation to be had.
Yes. I think so too.
You will follow me. He sort of just turns around. That woman is just eyeing you, staring at you the entire time. You follow him?
Yep, I'll follow him.
Okay. You exit, and you see Mr. Robbins sort of just looking at you with sort of this face of bewilderment, almost. Somewhere between shock and fear. And is just watching you just walk away with the professor. Chris, you are led out of Mr. Robbins' office. Being led into a hallway. It's currently not in that rush hour where it's just a bunch of busybodies trying to make their way back to class. It's currently empty. And you are sort of sandwiched between the headmaster, the professor of alchemy, the prime minister himself, Kirill Jarnha, and this other woman that's like sort of behind you, just keeping an eye. You're guided not too far away, up a couple of flights of stairs, through a few hallways. Yeah, and it does take you a bit of time to get to a place that seems familiar. Eventually, you do find yourself sort of retracing the same exact steps the last time you were led to the headmaster's office. A single hallway that leads to a cylindrical room with a blue glass skylight at the top, so reflecting its hues onto a various collection of suits of armors and stone busts. You see that long blue carpet that's leading to a set of dark wood double doors. Behind it, you know to be the headmaster's office. He sort of leads from the front, opening the door as you enter the office again. For the third time now, I think. A fairly spacious rectangular room made of this dark wood with this various burns and scuff marks all over the floor. Like it's kind of in tatters, but in a neat way, if that makes sense. It's just damaged, but everything does have its place. To the left, a green smokeless flame dances in a fireplace alongside a rocking chair and a huge bookshelf that reaches to the top of the room, about 15 feet up. A series of white marble counters to the right, on which you can see various chemical stains and burns. Some glass chemistry wares just give off this acrid, melting scent. And straight ahead, a huge window overlooking the city, and a raised dais with a simple red wood desk sitting atop of it. A leather chair is currently just parked there as Kirill Jarnhat walks up the dais and sits himself onto a chair, almost climbing up onto it. You look behind you, and that woman's not even there. You didn't hear her move. She just sort of disappeared. The door closes by itself. As you see the gnomish man, despite the small stature, seemingly commanding a very large presence. He sort of shuffles through a couple papers on his desk, looks at a couple in his hands, just making eye contact with you eventually. A palpable pause passes before he silently shuffles the papers into a neat pile, just places them into a drawer on the desk, just clearing the space. He sort of gestures towards a fairly nice wooden chair in front of his desk.
Yeah, I'll sit.
Okay. As you're sort of walking ahead, you sort of look up a little bit and you can see this almost like the frame of a large ship is suspended from the ceiling. It's not like a normal ship. It looks like a sky ship. It has wings, these paper wings, and these framed fingers that sort of outstretch to either side. A large balloon on the top. it's not real. It's sort of model size, but it's a fairly big model that is sort of hanging there. Sort of walk up to the desk and sit down.
So, it seems that you have some interesting information. Tell
Yep.
me.
You want me to tell you the information?
Yes. All of it, no details, expunged.
Can I ask you?
No, you may not.
Well, from what I know, there are beings from beyond our world. And they have been here in the past, like a long time ago, and have placed obelisks, or what is known as anchors. And they infect and they corrupt life around it, kind of making it their own. They are very deceptive. It is almost like they want everything to be one of this corruption. There is sort of a battle between them and the old gods. What I know of the new gods, I'm not sure. It's still something we're figuring out. But there is evidence of these obelisks, of this corruption throughout the world. Let's notably, there is an island south of Thane. There's also an obelisk in the Underdark in Tetscat. Just a couple to name. But you do see evidence, you do see history of these creatures. Particularly in the Underdark and Tetscat, we have encountered a ship with creatures located in creatures that were kind of, a list categorized species of different places. And in the center of the ship was some sort of amalgamation of grotesque living matter. It was quite disturbing. Having technology kind of beyond our own. And I'll also kind of describe the symbol or the eye type thing that we saw in the Underdark.
Yeah, the circle with an eye and the three tendrils equilaterally placed in a triangle almost.
Yeah. Now I do have other evidence, kind of dead bodies of these creatures, but I do not have the spell prepared to show you.
Let's go back a little bit. You mentioned a ship.
Yes.
You mentioned a list.
Yeah.
You were able to read this list?
Not immediately. With the use of magic, I was able to comprehend it in some form, but in doing so, it was very, very difficult. almost to the point where it hurts the brain.
What spell did you use?
Comprehend languages.
You mentioned other proof.
Yes. Well, I have it on a demi-plane, but at the moment I'm unable to do that since I'm not as prepared as I usually am at the moment. But with rest, I can definitely do that and show you. However, in my wares, I do have a weapon that I found within that ship as evidence.
What spell slots do you acquire for this demiplane?
8.
Well, there's nothing I can do about that. A weapon from this ship you picked up.
Yep. Some sort of firearm.
Tell me more about these obelisks. What became of them?
Well, when we've encountered them and the creatures, well, they actually deceived us. Well, tried to deceive me in a way to locate particular, I think, making sure no one was able to find them. And they kind of bribed me with monetary goods. Once they gave me the money, which was kind of manifested, I agreed to it at first, but then from other forces and other intuition, persuaded me in the other direction to not trust what I was told by them. And so we turned against them. We destroyed the pillar and we broke it. So that was, from our knowledge, not usable.
Yes, it seems you have a history on turning your back on prior agreements.
Well, I mean,
Forgive my cutting words. It's not relevant. It is it's just you've put me in let's say a particularly delicate political situation.
What do you mean by that?
All that is Teague and the Grand Arbiter are just each other good allies, and it would behove us to keep it that way. That is all. You mentioned this obelisk bribing you. As far as I'm aware, rocks do not negotiate.
Well, these things, well, not the obelisks themselves, but the creatures that were around these obelisks. Spike creatures, weird, grotesque creatures that don't really have a history. I mean, there's probably some accounts of people encountering them, and they've probably tried to bribe people before or even now.
And I assume that you similarly destroyed the obelisk in Thane as well.
Yes, well, we did our best to destroy what was there.
Do you know of any other locations of these obelisks?
No, just that there's some around. I mean, if we find them, we try to destroy them.
What is the goal? Why do all this? Why betray the Grand Arbiter? Do everything you're doing.
Well, I think it could be harder for you to understand because it's unconventional to talk about, religion if it's the truth, right? But in our experience, we have been chosen by the old gods. And by being chosen as the old gods and their previous battles with these invaders, we feel obligated to be that force to stop it.
Make a persuasion check. He sort of just looks at you. Unlike the teacher Mr. Robbins before, he doesn't seem to crack or give any sort of inkling of what's going on or these questions or the nature of this whole meeting, really. Sort of just nods.
So your quest is to save the world from these obelisks, and the Grand Arbiter was in the way.
Well, in terms of the Grand Arbiter, we didn't really know if we could trust him, to be honest. Because, well, the conditions there were not the best. And I mean, we did follow through on one of his deals, one of his requests, which was to kill the Ratave, the dragon, in Thane. But to infiltrate Lipat, and that was kind of a risky move for us.
So what did you want from me, from the Academy? Why fly in and break in, as you did?
Well, I thought I could, to be honest, that perhaps maybe I could I do have a bit of trust with the Academy, although I would prefer to know motives. But I would also hope that maybe you could also trust me. I know the encounter wasn't conventional, but also just moving around in the city was also not the best. I think perhaps this information might have been something of interest to you as well.
A small smile sort of creeps across his face a little bit as he sort of nods a little bit.
Trust. Interesting. We met twice, yet you trust me.
Yeah, well, I mean, so far you haven't really been hostile.
Well, I can see why the Grand Arbiter has such animosity towards you and your party. His trust is not so easily gained. And, well, I've managed to gain his trust, so I would prefer to keep it that way. That being said, your words, intrigue me. If I were to let you go, and you find a third of these obelisks, these anchors, you call them, would you be willing to simply not destroy them, but to relay its relocation to me?
Yes.
He sort of ruffles through a couple of papers, pulls out a paper, and he seems sort of whisper something under his breath, and the paper just disappears. A couple seconds later, it reappears in his hand. And then you can see there's text on it now. He sort of slides it towards you. It's a contract. It is a contract to do exactly what you said you would do. The moment you find an obelisk, you have your word and your signed agreement to give the Prime Minister of Altus the location of one.
What happens if I don't?
Then I will have, well, be forced to treat you as if you're an enemy. And you broke in here, and I would have to react accordingly. The truth.
Can I do an insight on that?
Make an insight check. Okay, what are you looking for?
If that's actually his intention, but also if like if looking for the obelisk is actually more of a curious thing, or if it's more of something he wants.
For 21 insight, you gather that he will absolutely stick whatever defenses are in here on you if you refuse. As for the motive and intention, it's hard to tell, but you gather that he probably knows more than he's letting on right now. But what that is, like how much necessarily, or if this is all just new information and he's now just like piecing it together. But it's hard to tell how much he's invested in this. But there's something there. There's something nagging you about the information or lack thereof he's given you.
What happens after I find it and I tell you?
Well, first, if if you sign this contract, give me your word, I will let you out of here. But I cannot politically state that I let you go to the Arbiter. So, on a surface level, you would still be wanted, but you would have my silent endorsement. As for what happens after the obelisk, that is not part of the agreement.
Okay. So as long as if I find one and I let you know, that's the end of the agreement.
For now. But then afterwards, we can have another conversation.
Okay.
Do you accept my terms?
I accept your terms.
Okay, so you sign the document, and he sort of rolls it up and puts it into a drawer.
Politically, I cannot let you leave. Subtly, I can. It is also in Cillia's best interest to see this mystery through as well. So you will have my support, but under the table. I cannot allow your friend, Riley, to simply walk free now. However, if you were to mysteriously disappear, escape, well, Cillia has no idea what happened. Do you catch my meaning?
I nod. Yeah.
He sort of clicks a button on the desk, stands up, and steps off this raised dais, and you can hear this grinding and clicking sound of gears rotating as the whole dais flips inverted, just 90 degrees, and just reveals an opening below. It looks like some sort of small tunnel system.
Hop in! Escape! I have no idea what happened.
Do I get my wares?
I will see that your belongings are returned. I should note, until you leave the city, you will be watched.
I suspect so.
Good lad. Hop in.
I Does it look safe?
Yeah, it's like a 10-foot drop. It might hurt your ankles a little bit, but like, it's not like a deathly drop.
Okay. I go in.
You jump in, kind of a rough landing, but you don't damage yourself on the way down. He sort of looks down as you're sort of in this dark space. There is a small tunnel system. There's just a square tunnel you can crawl through. It looks like it was probably built for like a smaller person to just run. So, but you sort of look up and all you see is the light around the office you were just in, and you're just in this dark tunnel looking up at this tiny little gnomish man. And he sort of looks at you with a very stern face.
Chrysostomus, do not disappoint me.
As he hits another button and the dais begins to rotate backwards, just leaving it flat. You below the office and just by your lonesome with a small little network of tunnels.
I cast light and try to find my way out.
Yeah, there's a couple exits or sorry, ways to go. You just sort of pick one, head along, and it kind of gently meanders downward. There's a couple small ladders you have to take uncomfortably. It looks like it was built for a smaller stature of person. About 30 minutes of just running or crawling through this very like thin network of tunnels. You eventually emerge outside of the city. Just there's a false patch of grass. There's real grass on top, but you sort of open it up, and there's just this like metal hatch that you sort of opened up, and you just sort of crawl out of it. Uh, as you sort of look around, there's just a bag with all your stuff in there.
I pick up my stuff.
Okay. Make a investigation check.
Oh,
That's a
so-
medicine check. That's a really good medicine check, though.
yeah.
Looking through your stuff, all of it is there except your laser gun.
I suspected so.
Yeah. Okay. Where are you going to now? You're somewhat out of the city.
I'm gonna try and make my way north towards the prison. But I'll disguise myself
Okay.
just
Yeah,
as a commoner.
Yeah, just a normal guy. You make your way through the gates. You get asked the same questions as you were before, but this time you don't get recognized as the guards. You sort of held up a little bit and ask, what's your business? Just come up with a bullshit excuse, and they let you go through. And it does take you a little bit to get there. Cool. Riley, you're just sitting there still?
Mm-hmm.
And the other two are still sleeping. Yeah, you are currently stood outside of the prison. You don't see any of your allies currently, though.
I'm gonna go on the sending stone.
Okay.
Or the phone.
Right.
Our phone line.
The group chat. Right.
Yeah. I'll say, hello, is anyone there?
The two of you get vibrates in your pockets.
I put mine on Do Not Disturb.
You don't get a vibration in your pocket. Instead, you get like you just in the morning you'll eventually get that text message. Right. Jen, is yours on Do Not Disturb? Busy.
I'm gonna look at it.
It's from Chris. You see a little crystalline rambler with a symbol on it.
Do I get a message preview?
You have to open it. Whether it's malware or not, you kind of have to take that gamble.
I'll open it.
Okay. Yeah, you hear in Chris's voice, is anyone there?
Jana will reply, where have you been?
I'll reply, up at the academy.
I'm gonna write back, we're sleeping, see you later. And then put my phone in Do Not Disturb.
Okay.
I reply back, where are you sleeping?
And that is your last charge for the day.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can I see that last message and send one more back?
Sure.
I don't drop alarm though.
Okay. What's your message?
Where we're staying.
Okay, so the Rusty Duck. And you give brief directions. Okay. All right. And those are the 3 charges, both of your relaying rocks, both of you.
I just ask around, where's the rusty duck?
Yeah, easy enough. They get you to where you need to go. It's a brief walk from the prison. eventually you find this just normal looking building with like this kind of like the shape of like a rubber ducky, but like wood, like a wood sign. This is the rusty duck, and walk inside, see the half orcish woman, just wild brown hair. At this point, no, it's still like the afternoon. Uh, there's some patrons in there, but not. It's not like a hopping bar place. Uh, so you walk in, and you see that the half orcish bartender walk up.
Oh, hello, hello. Food, drink. Lots on tap today.
I'm looking for recent travelers who probably purchased to stay here.
Oh, I don't know if I should be giving out such information.
Don't worry, I know them.
Make a persuasion check. Okay. So sort of like teeters a little bit and just like grits your teeth.
I mean, I could ask, but I can make no promises. Wait here. Can I get you anything while you're sitting?
Just tell them Chris is here, and
Chris, okay, okay. I'll be right back to you.
Yeah, Jana, you just got back to sleep and you hear very loud knocks on your door.
Sorry to bother you, sir, but a man named Chris wishes to speak with you. I do not know if you know this such individual. Should I turn him away?
Does it look like Zero's awake?
Oh, is there a wick?
Probably like half awake.
Yeah, so you see Zero stirring.
And my best Zero voice that I heard when giving, can I try and reply of like, let him in?
Sure, make a just make a deception check for fun. Pretty good. You know, you might have a career in such business, maybe. Yeah, so you just sort of deepen your larynx and just sort of speak in like a very chesty voice. Uh, yeah, and like you kind of surprise yourself a little bit, and it's like, oh, that wasn't bad actually. Uh, you just hear from the other side of the door.
Yeah, very well. I'll send him in.
You just hear footsteps walking away. Chris, she arrives back.
Follow me, sir. I'll guide you to your companions.
okay, I follow.
Yeah, just follow him, and it's just just a simple hallway with a door, and she just takes out a set of keys and unlocks it, and sort of knocks one more time.
He's outside. The door's unlocked.
And she just walks away, and you're sort of left to your own devices outside the door. You walk in.
Yep, I walk in.
Okay. You walk inside. You see Zero just crashed on a bed, half awake, and Jana just sort of, I'm imagining staring. And then both of you get what's the alarm sound like, Jana?
Kesha's TikTok.
Yeah. You are waking up in the morning, but you do not feel like P. Diddy. Yeah, you both get the silent alarms in your head.
I guess Jana's awake, so she's just jamming. But Jana will just like tap on like the foot of the bed for Chris to sit down.
I go sit on the bed.
Why do you always run away, Chris?
I mean, I think anyone would run away if they got shot at.
Okay.
But we should probably get Riley out soon.
We were gonna try and get him out tonight.
Yep, sounds good. I don't think we'll have a problem.
Okay. Jana's gonna go back to bed. She'll be like, we need to sleep to get our spells back.
I guess I'll meditate for 4 hours.
All right, so with Jana Zero taking some sleepy times for yourselves, not a harrowing day necessarily for you, but like certainly a stressful one. Some of the gang now reconvened. Chris, your gunshot wound is still kind of throbbing a little bit, but with a somewhat of an agreement made with the prime minister of the city, of the country even. Yeah. Is that a good stopping point?
Sure.
Yeah, as you all recover and recuperate from wounds, from stress, from exhaustion, and better plan a nighttime prison break of friend Bard Riley. All right, call it there this week.
Campaign didn't end. Holy shit.
Is this Riley?
We're still in it.
Is this Riley's first night in jail?
Yeah.
He's only
been
been
in
in jail.
Riley's been in jail longer than Chris has.
How long was Pratchell in jail? Do we know?
I think like either 1 or 2 weeks. Yeah, and like I think like 1 or 2 weeks, and like there's another 1 or 2 weeks before he was just like going to be tried in The Hague.
Then there was me who went in for 2 hours.
All right.
There should be a counter at the very end of how long everybody spent in jail.
Zero, the most crime-ridden character, has spent 0 days in jail.
Same with
Who the
Jana.
fucking catch Zero?
True.
You'll never take me alive.
Zero's too
Zero
slippery
has
and Janice too innocent.
Zero has like a cyanide tooth, so if things really go bad,
Just Romeo and Julia yourself. Do both at the same time. Stab yourself in the chest and cyanide pill.
Yeah, I gotta double tap, make sure it works.
Yeah. All right. What the fuck's your EXP levels at currently? Let's call that a nasty 3,000.
62 then.
3,000?
3,000. 3,000. 3, comma 000.
Did we
1,000
level
times
up?
3. No. Close.
Why not?
Close.
Why not? Why didn't we level up?
Because wouldn't it be better to level up after the big prison break arc?
No.
Samsung.
I want levels now.
Is
I
there-
feel like you're inside a year.
No.
Chiz.
I'm not even gonna try that.
Is it that much of a difference?
Yeah.
Holy shit.